Welcome back to West Texas View.
We've been talking with Heather McKenzie, a mental health advocate, about the very great need of mental advocacy and education in the Permian Basin. All over America, really, but we're concentrating on what's happening here in the Permian Basin and how every one of us individually can be involved in a solution to this problem. But Heather, tell us about some of the legislation that may help this problem.
Well, I'll start with Congressman Tim Murphy has introduced a bill called H.R. 3717. Tim Murphy is a congressman who is also a psychologist. So he has a very clear understanding of what the needs are. The bill that he introduced, it will empower parents and caregivers. It addresses the shortages of beds. It asks that people with severe mental illness be stabilized beyond the ER and beyond a 3-day stay. It promotes alternatives to institutions, encourages criminal diversion programs like the Restoration Center. It reaches underserved and rural areas. It will foster evidence-based programs that really work, and those are the ones that we want to focus on. It will advance medical research in this field.
Oh gosh, good.
It will improve community health services. It will reduce stigma, and it will allow families the hope and the opportunity to help someone with a severe mental illness.
So one of the very first ways that we can help is to write to Congressman Stenholm in Washington and say, I support House Bill 3717 because I'm a parent or I'm a friend of someone.
Or I'm a community member.
Yes.
You know, I want my community safer.
I'm a policeman or a fireman that has to go with the EMT or whatever.
They also support what is called an AOT. And what that is assisted outpatient treatment. And what happens if someone is homeless or severely mentally ill and they've been through the system repeatedly, you can get a judge to step in and you can say, I need this person in treatment for at least 6 months. And we're going to monitor them and we're going to watch them and we're going to help them become truly stable. And this program has actually just been backed by the law enforcement, the Alliance of Law Enforcement Officers. And they, along with the National Sheriff's Association, understand what a need this is, and they are backing this in communities. And we do have 2 laws on the books now, one in California, one in New York. One is called Kendra's Law and the other is called Laura's Law. And it basically does the same thing. It will allow us to step in with someone who has a severe mental illness and gain them the treatment that they need and deserve. It will protect them and it will protect the community. And that is what we need.
And the interesting thing is, this is supported by all of these people that see it on a day-to-day basis. And you would think, who would not be for this bill? Well, a lot of congressmen aren't, because it would siphon off money or resources or attention to some of the programs they want to pass. And so there's reasons why there would be people. But the most helpful thing of all to me is some money's going to be funneled into medical research if this bill passes.
Absolutely.
Because we've got to know why and what we can do to prevent mental illness, just like we do things to prevent flu and we do things to prevent pneumonia.
And we are coming up every day. We're making leaps and bounds in that area. They just did a study where they have discovered 108 DNA genes that are linked to schizophrenia. Oh. They have found them. They know that they're there. Now we just have to figure out what is going on. We know that you can see MRIs, you can see images in the brain where the frontal lobe of the brain is affected differently in someone with a severe mental illness than someone who's not. And a lot of times it looks like the same areas that are affected in people with severe brain injuries. So these are actual areas of the brain that we can see that are not working properly, and we still want to treat it as if it is not a medical issue. And we've got to quit that. We've got to integrate. We've got to understand that it is, you know, psychological and medical, and it needs to be treated as such.
And you know, you think back to your own son and how his life just changed dramatically, suddenly, and you think, what was the reason for this? Absolutely. Did he have a head injury? Did he have something that broke in his brain that caused a misfire? What was it? And you think, oh, if only we had known all of this.
How many hours of searching, research, crying, begging, pleading. When you have a loved one that ill, and there are very few answers, you know, your first thing as a mother, you want to roll out everything medical. And that's why it's so vital we treat this both as one entity, not separately, because many things can cause psychosis that are truly a medical, you know, issue. But we've got to start realizing the brain is an organ that needs to be dealt with medically.
In other words, we've got to get our head out of the sand, and we've got to really use our heart as well as our head in solving this problem. We're going to be back for our final segment of this 2 Sunday series about mental health in just a minute. Join us then. Okay, now this is...
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.